It should still be just. Oh, there it goes. So stream is live.
Yes.
Oh
my
I'm
God.
refreshing the YouTube channel.
Did it work? You don't see it?
I don't see it on YouTube yet. Let's give it a second.
It says it's okay on StreamYard now.
There it goes.
Nice.
Yeah, we are live.
Yay.
Oh, that was some pressure there. My God. Anyway,
Listen, this is going to be a great story.
Anybody watching? Nobody's watching anyway, so that's good. I guess this part will be recorded, and we just had a lot of trouble because you put a few vets trying to get a stream going, and it's kind of tricky.
In a year, I did Debbie Boone's podcast, and she was saying on our 100th episode, we'll joke about how on our first episode we were 10 minutes late because we deleted the stream link by accident.
That's why I like doing new things, because when you're doing new things, I haven't felt adrenaline like this in a long time, and I look pretty calm right now, hopefully, but that's what we do all day at work anyway.
I'm going to test a YouTube comment just for the sake of testing a YouTube comment. Like you said, I don't think anybody's here except for us, but it's fun to test these things. But anyway, sorry, John. Why are
so you can see us on YouTube? Okay, so
I can see you on YouTube. I just put a comment on YouTube. I don't see the comment in StreamYard. Oh, there it is. If you go to comments, and you see
nice.
Chat and then comments. So my YouTube comment just came through.
Wow. So what we practiced is working. Oh,
wait, people are here. Claire. Mike and Liz.
Liz Walker. Okay.
Adele, you know Mike.
There you go.
Yeah, I know Mike and Liz. Hi, guys.
Hello.
All right, John.
Let me stay on track because we wasted 10 minutes. We wasted 10 minutes already. And I hope this is not the type of like, I mean, we're just scrambling right now, but that's part of it. It's going to be funny a while from now.
It's fine.
It's fine. Anyway, I thank you, everybody. I think hopefully a lot of people will watch it later after we record. Thank you for being here. Oscar from LinkedIn. Sorry, I had to say he's going to be important for us too. But anyway, if I keep doing the comments, I'm never going to get anywhere. So,
that's my job, John. My job is comments.
That's true. Let me not look at that. Okay. So we basically, I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn doing stuff like posting, reading other people's posts for more than a year, probably a couple years. And I just feel like I'm kind of running on a treadmill a little bit. I don't see, maybe a few people like my thing and maybe make a comment or two, but I want to do something that is more impactful, something that somebody can just like kind of watch whenever they have time and just, watch people talking about the things they want to hear about. Right. And we did some asking around and figured out that mental health is the big thing that veterinarians and people in vet med want to talk about. And then one day me and Christy were talking just in general about the industry and some problems. I kind of told her my story, and we figured like, how about we have these conversations, and put them out there and let people join in and have put in their expertise on different subjects in vet med. And we kind of started brainstorming a little bit, maybe creating something like what it is now. And I started thinking of what can we name it? What kind of name would fit a group of veterinarians that out of nowhere appear, knowing that the vet industry is in a lot of trouble and it could be a lot better. Not to sound negative, but we need to improve a lot of things. And the word flare came to mind because the flare is like a call for help. It's also a burst of light, that just gives people basically information, tools on how to deal with those problems. Because, we have people in this group that have many years of experience in clinical, in business, in management, and a lot of things that, one person can't save the whole industry, right? So when we put everybody's brains together in conversation, I think we're going to have more impact than a post on LinkedIn or a post on Facebook or whatever. And that's kind of the thought that we started with. And, obviously we added the vet part to the FlareVet. And I think that kind of completes our name as a group. We're a group of veterinary industry, not just veterinarians. We have other people from other parts of the industry joining as well. And it's a flare because, it's a call for help as well. So that's kind of how this whole started. I'm John Gonzalez. I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised there, 24 years, went to St. Kitts for vet school, then Pennsylvania for my clinics where I met my wife. And apparently I met Bill Tancredi there at some point, randomly at some interview he had, which he remembered pretty well. I guess, guy has a good memory. But I lived up there. I got too cold and I came down to Texas. I live near Houston and been a vet for 15 years. A lot of experience in clinical small animal stuff, and I've done private practice, I've done corporations, I've been in and out of different projects, so I hope my experience helps a little bit as well. And today I just kind of wanted to introduce everybody in the team, kind of talk about what we expect from this project. I expect a lot of good conversation, something funny and entertaining. But it also creates an impact, right? So I want vet students to want to watch this and laugh with us and, kind of make fun of us in a way and be looking forward to what Mark has to say or Adele or Christy one day. And, maybe Mark's having a bad day that day and he just goes off, and that's going to be the most entertaining part of the show probably. But anyway, so I ladies first. I wanted to start with Christy. I think, and then maybe we can do Adele's intro and then Mark. And then as people come in and out, we'll talk a little bit more about who we are, why we're here, what we expect from this. And then at the end, I would like people to comment or ask questions or just, give us feedback on what's going on. So, Christy Cornelius, she's the Better Call Saul of vet medicine. She has been a vet business consultant for how long, Christy?
Probably close to 10 years.
10 years. So, and mentoring people in business and entrepreneurship is really your strong skill here.
Yeah.
And then tell me a little more about becoming a hologram. What is that?
That was just me just trying to be funny. Well, I mean, I don't know.
What do you mean by that? That's pretty cool.
Haunt people in their dreams.
Well, Tupac is a hologram, so obviously we should have a Christy Cornelius.
I don't
hologram.
have to
That's
be
the
everywhere.
Logical next step.
I can just send my hologram somewhere. Right?
Gotcha. And just tell it what it's gonna say, and that's it. Nice.
Yes, that's it.
You're onto something.
Yeah. Probably not.
So what do you expect from FlareVet? Why are you doing this with us?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just, as an independent vet, and I know there are a lot of us out there, just feeling kind of disconnected, from the community and, wanting to collaborate with people about finding remedies for some of the challenges that we have right now, as an industry. And so it's really kind of an opportunity, a unique opportunity for us to, it's almost like if you had a Facebook stream, you had a Facebook post that had a bunch of comments on it, like pulling all of those people into the same room at the same time so that there's really live discussion, in real time and, to get some immediate assistance. I think it's just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to this, working with people that are open to, and are agile and really just kind of open to seeing how this thing serves each other and the rest of us. So I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. We are too, for sure. Looks like Adele had some connection problems, but I think I would like to go on with Mark now. I think Mark. Huh? Yeah, Greg popped in.
Is here.
Yeah, this is it, man.
This is the
right
feel.
here.
People might pop in and out.
I'm Adele's
they might, and what's that, Greg?
I'm Adele's understudy.
Yeah, that's great.
Now.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden somebody random is gonna pop in that you don't expect. That's the whole part of it. But Mark, I think you're my engine here, man. From the start, You've given me so much energy, and you've made me believe in this thing. You know, if you didn't have all that energy initially, I don't think I'd be doing this, honestly. Let me see. So you're a veterinarian, turned PIMS director, lover of tech and AI, the digital DVM. That's gonna be. I think we're gonna have to change Mark Mastaro with the digital DVM at some point. I think that would be. That's you. You know. And then your favorite kid is a pit bull.
Yes. my favorite
nice.
child. When people I schedule calls with people, I say I don't have human children, so I'm pretty flexible. But I do have 3 dogs and 2 cats, and we don't play favorites, but my favorite is obviously the pit bull from Texas. Not too far from you, I don't think, right?
Right, no, not at all. I wonder what I've probably driven through those streets where he would hang out.
You probably honestly the dumping ground is probably not that far from where you live, I think.
Yeah, I bet they dump anything there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumping grounds in Texas.
Yeah.
I think Texas is a whole dumping ground.
The comments are like, I'm legitimately, like, we're 5 minutes in, I'm trying not to get emotional. Like, you're talking about, like, that I was motivating you, because it's really you really started this whole thing, right? Like, you messaged me on November 22nd and said, I have an idea for a community where it's called FlareVet. Oh, the whole screen is my face now. But yeah, you messaged me. I mean, we had gone back and forth, like, liking each other's LinkedIn posts and stuff. And you messaged me on November 22nd. I just sent you a screenshot the other day. I have this idea for a community that we come together and we do live streams and we have real, authentic, raw conversations about the profession. And I want to call it FlareVet. And I was like, oh my God, yes, like, this is exactly what we need. This is amazing. And to think, wait, is it exactly I didn't even realize that, to the 22nd, exactly to the day,
Yeah.
2 months later, we are posting a live stream. There are people here. There are people commenting. I mean, and then there's like David Diefenbach is Mark found. He always pumps me up for my posts and stuff. But I'm just so excited that this is even happening. There's a couple times when we were planning it, and how much of it, we're all working, we all have full-time jobs. How much of a time commitment is this going to be? Is this really going to work? Are people really going to be into this? Are they going to join? And just the fact that we're here streaming, I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited that you are joining too. This is a really, it's kind of like a dream come true, but it was never a dream because I didn't have time to dream it. It just kind of just happened out of nowhere, and just like the name FlareVet, it just fits perfectly. It's just a sudden burst of a community of people that want to fix some things that we know is a problem. So now, what do you expect, Mark, going forward? Like, what do you want? Because I think a lot of people have asked me about impact. So how do you think we're going to create some impact out there?
Yeah, it's so interesting to see how this thing has progressed, even in the 2 months of. We had 3 planning calls, and it's so cool to see how it's developed even through those 3 planning calls. I remember when you messaged me initially and when we were first talking, you said, are you a sports fan? And I said, yes. You said, do you know Pat McAfee? I was like, yes. And you're thinking, like, I'm thinking Pat McAfee for veterinary medicine. And I was like, that's awesome. I love that. But then on the second call, Greg Bishop was saying, what if we did more? Like, what if we had podcasts and blogs and articles and satirical cartoons, and we hosted them on a website? And then it's like, what if we had a Facebook page? What if we live streamed onto YouTube? And I think that, how in terms of the how, I think that's the how. And Patreon for different discussion threads, like, make it super accessible to, maybe vet students are more drawn to this platform. Maybe career professionals are more drawn to this platform, but it's whatever. And it's whatever you want it to be and whatever you make it, type of thing. And we said this a lot in the calls, that we want this to be raw. We want this to be authentic, unfiltered. We see a lot of things about veterinary medicine. We see a lot of things about mental health, this is not a knock on that, but things that are sponsored or we're sponsored by this, or, you go check this out and we're selling this, this is not what that is. This is like, we're not here to make money. We're all doing this on our free time. We purely just want to foster discussion, amongst professionals in the industry? Can we come together? Can we talk about the issues? We want it to be funny. We want it to be entertaining. We have Greg Bishop, so it will, you know, we have some humor. Like you said, I'm probably going to have like a breakdown at one point in one of these videos, and people can laugh at that. But you know, like I was saying, you make it what you want it to be. If you come to one session, if you come to every session, if you like the cartoons, if you like the blogs, it's whatever you want it to be. That's how I envision it.
Yeah, and we don't really know what it's gonna be. We're making it as we go. We're gonna get feedback. We're gonna, you know, see what people have to say about it too. Like I think from the start, it was never like, okay, this is what we're doing, guys, right? We kind of all put our brains together. This is not just me. This is everybody contributing equally, you know. And that's what I like about it the most, because there's no pressure really to create all this content. It's basically picking each other's brains, you know, and just kind of having conversations that hopefully lead somewhere, right? More than just liking something somewhere or commenting about it, right? And it's easy to watch, it's easy to listen to, it should be fun and entertaining, but hopefully it has a message behind it as well. So like you said, comedy is the best medicine.
You're gonna laugh,
and I think
you're gonna cry, you're gonna think. Like, what, you know, when you go to the movies, what's the three things of a good movie? It makes you think, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry. Like, that's, you know, it's a lofty goal, but that's what we're trying to do here.
Right, for sure. I think, Greg, can you hear us? Wait, can you hear us, Greg?
It's gonna be tough with him driving.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough with him driving. Okay,
I can hear you.
I'm gonna introduce Greg. I think I'm gonna make something so it actually looks like.
And Greg is a
Greg's
professional,
world.
guys. Anyone watching this, we're not advertising live streaming while driving. You know,
no,
leave
good
it to
point
the
for the lawyers. Yeah, all the lawyers out there.
You know, in the
I'm driving
Jackass videos
backwards, too.
where they say these are trained professionals. You know.
All right. Well, we're right there with Greg in his car right now. We're kind of in an awkward position. We're sitting on the windshield in front of him, watching him.
Coming down I-5 South. It's a beautiful, crisp, clear day. Portland, Oregon, 38 degrees. We have light traffic. Heading into an emergency shift here. So I don't think there's any rules against putting a camera on my dash while driving. Eyes are on the road, as you can tell.
Yeah, eyes on the road. That's what they're commenting.
Yeah.
Eyes on the road.
Eyes are on the road. 10 and 2. Here we go.
10 and 2.
And again, we're veterinarians trying to do a live stream, and I think we're doing pretty good so far, man. Like, this is
I think we're doing great.
This is great. So let me introduce Greg. I think a lot of you guys know Greg, and I think his comedy and his cartoons are really what I think are important here for us. And not only that, but the message behind them, right? Because you know, sometimes I feel bad because I'll see his cartoon and then I'll comment, you know, like I'll just write a funny face or something, right? And then when I read what he wrote about it, it's like, you know, super deep and thoughtful, and like, and I was like, crap, I just laughed at that.
I've done the same thing.
So, you know,
That's exactly what I want.
Awesome. So, you know, obviously he's a veterinarian. He's a creative storyteller. He's got the SasquatchPaw.com website too, which we're gonna integrate to our Patreon somehow and our website too. And then something really funny. He didn't write a lot about himself, but one thing that I share with him that I didn't know is like we both really like dinosaurs. That's pretty cool.
I listened to your.
Where's that from?
Conan. Well, I listened to your Conan O'Brien thing, and I also love the movie Willow. Like, I love Willow, so we might be soul brothers and not know it. But I've always loved dinosaurs. I mean, I was 10 when Jurassic Park came out. My mom took me out of school that day to go see it on opening day, and I, you know, at a very formative point in my brain, T-Rexes just became like most of my neural energy went into just imagining what I would do if a T-Rex suddenly came out and was attacking me, and I just had nightmares about T-Rexes for the next like 25 years of my life. But
you wouldn't even go to the toilet, right? When the dinosaur eats the guy out of the toilet. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. That's
so.
They use flares in that too. That's
there are flares in Jurassic Park.
So I don't know. I'll pull it all to T-Rexes. If we just want to talk about T-Rexes for the rest of the time, I'd be 100% happy with that.
We'll have a whole session on dinosaurs. I think we'll have I don't know, somebody that knows a lot about dinosaurs come in. So what do you
Oh, sorry. Go on.
What do you expect from this, Greg? Like why did you join? Like what caught your interest, and what do you expect from it, and where do you see it going?
Oh my gosh, this is honestly, just to keep it so simple, like just to be able to talk about my job with people that want to talk about it. It's honestly, it's not more complicated than that. I feel like the conversations I have with other veterinarians are so constrained because they're either at work or they're at these CE dinners, which are always really awkward. And just to meet like friends in the veterinary industry who are like, yeah, there's this problem, there's that problem. It kind of reminds me of the fun I had in vet school of meeting people that I just got along with, and now we have a format to kind of talk about it. These are people like that are frustrated with the industry, that are not selling the sort of saccharine corporate message, that are not the stuffy academic types, and that are just like, yeah, there's this problem, there's that problem. How do we address this? How do we address that? And I don't get a chance to talk to those people. So, you guys invited me. I'm trying very hard to bring forth some humor and sort of my perspective on the profession into a bigger sphere. And clearly, that connected with you guys, and it just made me think like, yeah, these are people that I want to talk to. These are people that kind of feel the same way I do about the profession, and they want to do something about it, and for some reason want to listen to what I have to say. So what else do I need at that point besides T-Rexes?
Can I just say the last two I thought were both brilliant. I mean, I think they're all brilliant, but the free catch urine where he's squeegeeing it off his scrub top, and it was like about like making good out of a bad situation. That was like, oh my God, I love that. And then the Dachshund company where it was exponential growth. And we say laugh out loud when you breathe through your nose a little bit more than normal. Like I actually laughed out loud at both of those.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the humor that Greg brings to the group is really important, because honestly, we need to attract the younger people, I think, the most in terms of like the people coming into the industry and starting their jobs and having this ideal of what vet medicine is. Like think of yourselves. You're probably coming into the industry, you thought, well, this is what I love about it, and I just want to keep that dream alive. I want to make sure people stay in vet med, they don't leave. There's so many broken hearts in vet medicine, and I think comedy is really the way to deal with a lot of the stress that we go through on a daily basis. And with the staff, I try to crack a joke when it's awkward, and it works. So that's why I think comedy is so important in our jobs.
It's a great way to sort of bypass fearful or negative mental states to a positive affect. It literally, the subconscious brain starts you down a pathway that can either go towards catecholamine release and stress and fear, or it can go off towards endorphins and feeling good and laughter and release of that tension. And there's all these, like the getting peed on, like there's an opportunity there for something positive, and it's and it's hard, and it's not that it's simple, it's not that it always happens, it's not that we don't get bummed. I mean, I am I'm moody all the time and angry and deal with that. But boy, like if you can try to see the little gap to hit with a, can we go from here to here? This is so much better. This is so much more fulfilling and wonderful, and we can really help ourselves and help our community by shifting towards that. I love it. I mean, I love laughing. I love making people laugh, and so I'm always just looking for that off ramp from crazy to fun.
I just commented this, but I've never heard anyone explain humor and use the word catecholamine at the same. Like, I just think that was amazing. I love that we're talking about making sure we add humor, but explaining it with catecholamines. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, scientists, you want data.
We're appealing to multiple audiences here. Yeah.
It's funny how I don't know that he even did it on purpose. It's just the way our brains work.
That was just went. That was so natural.
Yeah. And that's why I think all of this should come from within. All the change that we want should be the veterinarians and everybody that supports us as well. Like I managers, vet techs, everybody in the industry can really help make it better. It's not only the veterinarians, in this pedestal being the smartest, best people ever. Some people never got the chance to be a veterinarian, and they are one of us. They just didn't get through school or whatever. So I think that's something that we need to start doing better, is listening to all parts of the industry, not just the one part or techs versus doctors or whatever. Like we all say,
maybe they never wanted to be a vet. I totally get what you're saying, and that's definitely the case for a lot of people. But I do hear this a lot actually from techs, right? Like, one of the most annoying questions they get is like, "Oh, do you want to go to veterinary school?" It's like, no, I want to be a veterinary technician. And that's actually one of the things I think we should have a whole episode on is tech utilization and making sure we're paying them a living wage and that it is a career to be a veterinary technician, or a veterinary assistant or a CSR or a practice manager. So no, I totally get what you were saying. And to be honest, that is true in a lot of cases, but it's not just that, these people didn't get a chance to be a veterinarian or weren't able to do all the schooling or whatever. Like that, it should be its own career and it should be respected and treated as such. But again, your point to trying to get those voices amplified is huge here. I know we recognize that the leadership team, is, I think it's 8 veterinarians and an IT guy, Susan. That was one of the big things. We added Susan. We added Susan at the end. Sorry. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, that was one of the reasons that we specifically reached out to Susan and some other people. Is like, we need a tech on this team. And so, am I going to botch her last name? I have on my other screen the leadership team. I actually do want to shout out Susan some of these people. Yeah. So we have Greg here, Megan Sprinkle, who's like an amazing podcaster in her own right. We just added her. And I'm super excited that she's happy and willing to join the team. Susan Thomas, who's our BA, BS, LVT. She just published a book recently, actually, about animal hospitals and how they function and client communication and all kinds of things. Chris Tremblay, who I think is going to pop in. I know he's driving as well. He's our IT guy. He does a lot of marketing and builds websites for animal hospitals. And then Bill, who you mentioned at the beginning, who I don't even want to try to describe Bill because I want, you'll get to know him when you get to know him.
It'll happen as it happens. Yeah, it'll just happen.
He's a tech guru. He loves AI. He writes a blog, and just probably one of the smartest and most interesting, passionate, funny people I've ever met. So, but that's the leadership team as it stands.
Yeah, and it naturally happened to be more veterinarians, but I'm super happy to have Susan and her input. And not only that, I don't know if you remember, we have a chat with ideas, right? And there's a bunch of 50 people there. So the thought is to bring some of those people in and out, people that can maybe shed more light.
That Canva doc. Chris posted the Canva doc. That was such a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. It's like, when somebody does something, you're like, I wish I would have thought of that. He posted a screenshot of the Canva doc. And so Jonathan, I kind of took over, Jonathan. I apologize. Your original LinkedIn thread, to the point where he had to make a new LinkedIn thread because he was like, hey, add people that you think might be interested in this. And I added 47 people within like a couple of weeks, and I hit the 50 people max. And so
in like a day, right? In a day or two.
I think I maybe added 42 of the 50. I think like a couple of people, some people. But then we were like, okay, how are we going to organize all these ideas rather than just a crazy LinkedIn thread? And I don't know who came up with it, but we went back and forth about Jamboard or this, that. And somebody said, let's do Canva to make one of those webs. And they posted the Canva board, and people went crazy on it. And the web started getting really big and intricate. And Chris, like maybe last week, posted a screenshot of it. And it's like, this is what happens when you ask people in the veterinary profession to come together to share ideas. And that image alone is such a perfect way to describe what we're doing and why we're doing it, right? Like there's clearly an appetite for this. The people that contributed are technicians, are practice managers, CSR people.
Exactly.
Debbie Boone is a big CSR person, and then obviously veterinarians as well. And so, but that Canva board is so inspiring, I feel.
Yeah, and basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna have different sessions, and we've picked the main subjects. The main subject we want to start with is mental health. And I think that's going to be a really important one. And we might have more than one session about mental health. We just want to get a good start on that one. We're going to have one about the veterinary team, about business. We're going to have about mentorship and mentoring students. So, I don't know if I'm missing any of them, but
let me pull up the main Patreon. We talked about diversity, equity, inclusion. We talked about Adele is going to do a whole episode about women's issues and women's rights in the veterinary profession. We're 80%. There she is. We're 80% women in some places. And Adele, I just said, John was talking about what are some of the issues we're going to focus on, and I said Adele is going to make sure one of our first episodes is about women.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I've been a vet for over 20 years, and I've faced lots of problems as a woman, and now as a mum, as a parent as well. There's lots of challenges to juggling that in the career. And sorry, I'm just this is an example of juggling it because I'm at the sports centre where my kids are having their swimming lesson, and there's like a squash game going on, which is really noisy in the background.
I was wondering about the blue brick. That was pretty unique. I thought it was the background on your computer, but it's shaking, so I know it's what you're standing in front of.
It's my phone, and it's background noise at a sports centre. So I'm probably going to mute for now, but I just want to...
You're fine. Just the fact that you popped on, again, shows we're doing this in our free time. We want to be here. I love that you popped in at the sports center. I think that's amazing.
And she's an expert on AI, and we're going to talk a lot about AI, by the way. She's going to be our AI, we all love AI in the group, I think. But Adele's going to be our
we don't all have a PhD,
AI
though.
brain.
We all love AI, but we don't all have a PhD.
And those letters are important.
The topics. So real quick, the topics that we have listed in our Patreon chats are the veterinary team. One is just for general ideas dumping, news in vet med, mental health in vet med, business in vet med, AI in vet med. And then I'm actually going to pull up the Canva doc. I don't want to experiment too much on here, and I kind of like that it's our faces. So I'll just talk instead of sharing my screen. Maybe in a future episode we'll play with sharing screens. But the veterinary team, for instance.
I think Mark, if you share the screen, I'll add it to the stage. Do
you want me to try it?
Yeah, try it. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing, man. No
one's gonna blame us if we
started 10 minutes late anyway.
All right, let me blow this up. Tell me that people can actually see this thing, because this is a really cool document.
Look, I'm gonna make it be on the stage there, and then I'll try.
Oh yeah, that worked. Oh, gotta put it.
That worked.
Now it went away. It did for a second, and then it went away.
Now it'll be on. add to stage.
There we go. Okay.
Man,
this is this crazy
go.
web that I just love. I love, and so many people contributed. And I'll zoom in. So FlareVet ideas. And then, like, for instance, the veterinary team, it's kind of a broad idea, but we break that down into tech utilization, tech pay, title protection. We talk about this new position, this veterinary mid-level practitioner, the VPA that Colorado is starting. And how do we feel about that? We talk about neurodivergence. We have as one of them, diversity, equity, inclusion. I covered up somebody else's. The pet owner is a member of the team. I love that. I don't think I even saw that.
That's so important. That's so important.
We have business. We have exploring different ownership models. We have processes, multi-state corporations, franchising, build and buy, ESOP. I don't even know what ESOP is, but I've heard of it. New grads. We talked about I read an article at one point about using the SOAP form, and we kind of introduced us a little bit into our explanation of what FlareVet is. I read this really awesome article from Today's Veterinary Business, I believe, that it was like treating veterinary medicine like it's a sick patient, like it's a sick dog. We need to diagnose our issues. We need to come up with treatment plans. We need to make an assessment. We need differential diagnoses, blah, blah, blah. And I thought it was brilliant. And so we thought about doing that as part of FlareVet as well. Obviously, mental health, AI. A lot of us are big into AI, as John said. Myself, Bill, Adele, everybody, I think, on the leadership team is using AI in one way or another.
Everybody should use it anyway, but we'll get to that.
What's new in vet med? And then, that was the main buckets. But, we can add buckets. We can kind of further break down buckets. Like, I'm really curious to see, and I want to emphasize this, because I am one of those people, when I hear the word Patreon, I'm like, oh, somebody's going to make me pay $5 a month to be able to access their content. That is not what this is. We just found that Patreon was really nice in terms of being able to organize different threads in this way. It's free. It will always be free. It's just, with Facebook or LinkedIn, or it's hard to organize things into nice little buckets. At least that's what we found. And the Patreon seemed to be a really nice place for that. Obviously, you can leave comments in the LinkedIn group, on the YouTube channel, anywhere you want. But these threads, I think, are going to be a really nice place for us to house some of these discussions. So, okay.
That's a good point, Mark. I'm going to go deeper on the Patreon thing, because I want to explain why Patreon, because it might sound like, some kind of YouTuber thing or some kind of kid playing on Twitch. But really what it does really well is that it creates a community of people. Exactly who everybody is, who's watching what we're posting. It's not just random trolls and bots and stuff like that. So we're going to have a good amount of control on who joins the community. It's a safe place that we can say whatever we want. Nobody's going to be messing around like Facebook. Everybody can look you up and whatever. So it's a safer environment to share our ideas and all that. And then it's pretty. Like when you download the app, it's a nice app. You look at the app, it's kind of cool. It's I kind of thought TikTok would be out for real, and that would have been a good like entertainment for people instead of giving them something to do, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
you said
nice.
You were in a
pretty,
group in Puerto Rico that used Patreon. Isn't that part of what made you think of it?
It's my friend has a radio show about politics.
Okay.
And that has become a community of people, and they do special events, and they even have awards, and they have like funny things like that. I think he's been doing it for like 5 years, and I just like the fact that it's more it feels more like a community of people that you belong, right? It's not like Facebook where everybody's there, or other communities. It's like, well, our Patreon community that is free. We don't have to pay anything, because it has a lot of implications of money, right? A lot of people make money with Patreon, but we're not here to make money. We're here to just have a place where we can have a community. And for example, we're going to post this after we record it on Patreon for people to watch it later and stuff like that. So
I just posted the link and the first one has a typo. So, but if you go, anyone who's watching, if you look in the chat, that the second link should work for our Patreon page, hopefully.
Okay. And I think the app is better, by the way.
Okay.
If you download I hate downloading apps. I hate adding more apps than I need, but I think that the app works a lot better, than the website. So that's the thought behind Patreon. It's not to make money. It's just to have a more close community.
I posted the Canva board too, in case anybody wanted to access. Because I think, did we make it? I don't know. They don't have to like log in or make an account. I don't remember. I think anybody, at least in the LinkedIn community, could just access the Canva board, right?
Yeah, they can. It's open for everybody, and we started with just the chat because we just wanted to be legit. We want it to be real, where it's not made up stuff or people that don't know what they're talking about. I think everybody has been contributing. We respect, and we want to hear what they have to say. And eventually we're going to have them on camera too. That's part of the, the plan.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to have guest stars. It's not going to just be us every time, right? Like if we talk about a particular issue, I'm gonna throw Debbie Boone under the bus here. If we talk about CSR utilization and she just started the NAVR, like she would be a perfect guest star for that episode, yada yada. But I don't know, whoever I want to talk about guest stars. I'm talking too much.
No, that's so I actually had a specific question for Christy because I know we're both from Texas, and we just went through a really, really bad storm, and just wanted to get your thoughts on how we connect through like the internet, how we are going to be able to facilitate having 5 veterinarians at once on a chat. I guess I'm talking more about challenges, right? We have to talk about challenges too. I know we said what we expect from this and everything that's going to go well, but one of the biggest challenges is going to be having everybody on one call. So I wanted to pick your brain on how we get people more involved and maybe have more of the leadership on the call.
So I think the most important part of it is that sense of belonging, and to have just kind of a group of veterinary professionals that really care and really want to hear your story, and just being able to just log in somewhere and to have that kind of feeling that you've got a group of friends that you can just talk to about whatever you want, whatever you're experiencing throughout the day without judgment. And a lot of us are professionals that have been in the industry for a long time. And so we've done a lot of the training and the mentoring and, the consulting part of it. And so, and just what we've been through individually and collectively, as an industry and a profession, I really feel that, people will be able to express themselves more freely, within our platform, in order for them to really get the help that they need, and to get the help that they need more immediately. Because oftentimes, we're dealing with problems in the background on a chronic basis, and we just all of a sudden just kind of have what I would call just like a flare up, and we need some immediate help, and to be able to have something where they can just like I said, log on to find information, resources, as quickly as possible, to help them kind of back themselves off of a cliff. And where a lot of us, unfortunately, find ourselves. And so just to have a group of people there that are willing to help out on the spot and listen, I think it's going to be,
I agree.
Impact.
I think for myself, just having the call itself for me is a big help, and it helps my mental health. So we wanna try and invite people, not by paying them, but by giving them a stage where they can not only portray the message, but also heal themselves, right? And I think that's part of why we're in here as well. So
Yeah.
sorry about that, Greg.
What's the vibe with the independent veterinarians? Like, how are they feeling in general? Because I think it's such an important group.
Oh, wait a sec. Did we lose his audio?
Looks like he's frozen.
Looks like it's frozen, but I get his question. Chrissy, you want to
Yeah.
answer that, or Mark? Mark, you want to give it a shot?
I'm gonna let Christy do
Yeah,
it.
I can say a little bit about this. I happen to be on the board of directors for the Independent Veterinary Practitioner Association, and a lot of us are feeling kind of isolated, but we also see the opportunities that are laid out in front of us. We're dealing with a lot of uncertainty right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with the transformations and technology that are occurring right now. They just seem very rapid, and we can't quite get our heads wrapped around what's actually going on. And we don't know who to ask about it, don't know how to get that good information. I think a lot of the information can be presented in a way, like we'd mentioned, behind sponsors and things like that. We don't want to be restricted on what kind of help that we can offer and how fluid this can actually be. And it's more natural. Instead of asynchronous back and forth, it can be more of a synchronous conversation. And so I think just a sense of belonging to a group, having the support, I think that's what a lot of us independent veterinarians want and need.
I'll jump off that. It's like every time Christy talks, it makes me think of like 10 different things. Like every call, I'm like, Christy Cornelius said this thing and it made me think about this thing.
And that's the magic of having a conversation, because if you're reading a post or you're watching her talk, then you have this thought, it's like, hey, I wish I could tell her this, right?
Right. It's the interaction, and then in addition, it's the comments. That's a big goal of this as well, which I'll tie that in at the end. But you mentioned this a little bit about the beginning about the digital DVM and some of the things I'm trying to do for my own personal, I hate to brand, like I'm a YouTuber or whatever, but I have been posting a lot recently, trying to put myself out there as a resource. I can't necessarily speak to like independent veterinary practice owners, but just independent veterinarians and technicians. I've been really trying to put myself out there to say, hey, if you need someone to talk to who's been through dark times, I kind of told my story. And again, this is where we're going to mix some serious things with some humor. We talk about mental health in the veterinary profession. There's not a lot of things in this world that I feel like I really can speak to. But if we want to talk about mental health in the veterinary profession, I do feel a little bit like I'm an authority on that because I had my own really severe struggles. I was on involuntary hold at a psychiatric facility that my wife brought me to the hospital because I was suicidal. I realized that we just took a really sharp turn really quickly there. But
that's
okay.
If we're going to
talk,
part of it.
If we're going to talk about mental health in the veterinary profession, I do feel like I have something to say about that and about what influences things and what it's like to be a practicing veterinarian battling with some of these really difficult emotions. And so anyway, so I'm starting to try to put myself out there as like, hey, if anybody out there is reading this and you need somebody to talk to, and specifically if you feel more comfortable talking to somebody that actually can relate to you and went through this, please reach out to me. And people have, and I've done, 2 weeks ago, I did 4 calls in a week. I did a couple, I did one yesterday. I did a couple last week. It kind of ebbs and flows, but there's people are really struggling. And I talk about this a lot. Like I would love to keep as many people practicing and clinical as possible. Like, if there's any way I can keep you on the floor, because I just did a call the other day and the person said, I feel like my calling is to be a veterinarian. I feel like it's my purpose in life, but all of these things are making me think maybe I should try to find a non-clinical job. That's why she reached out to me in the first place. I really present myself as, if you want to find a non-clinical job, I'll help you do that. And I said, I don't actually think that's the answer here. I don't think the answer is to find you a non-clinical job. I think we need to find ways to reduce your stress level. Let's try using AI to write your SOAP notes. That's step 1. and let's see if we can keep you in practice, because you're clearly passionate about this. And I don't want to, now I did another call the last week where I said the completely opposite thing. I said, listen, I think we really need to put this effort into hyperdrive is the word, the phrase I use. I think we need to put this finding you a non-clinical job into hyperdrive, because I think you've been trying to make it work. And I think there's certain hurdles. And that's kind of where I was in my clinical journey, where I was facing certain hurdles that I could not overcome. And it made more sense for me to try to find a non-clinical career. But anyway, the thing I was going to say was about these sessions and about how interactive they can be, and we're interacting with each other, but we also want to interact with you guys. And I know, Jonathan, you said at the beginning about leaving questions for the end. We're 50 minutes in. I know we started late, so we're actually coming at the end of what the original time block was going to be. And I've been trying to respond to some of the comments and see the comments come through, but we actually want it to be where you guys can post a comment. Like, let's say we're talking about mental health, and somebody watching this, and feel free to do this right now, could post a question, and then we can, whoever the moderator is, I think it's going to be me at least sometimes, can pose that question to the other people live. And you can, so it's you're not watching a podcast or listening to a podcast, you are genuinely interacting with us in real time. I think that's, and again, we talked about the Pat McAfee show and that kind of thing. I don't know, me personally, I've never seen that in veterinary medicine. I thought that was such a cool idea. And so, like, for instance, Mike Clare just commented, credit to you for leading the mental health chat, Mark. Thank you for sharing. It takes one person to be vulnerable and bring the stories out. Well done. Which, Mike, thank you so much. I love Mike. But if you guys wanted to post a question or a topic or whatever, we want this to be an interactive experience. So, okay. I'm going to turn it back to you, John. This is your baby. We have I don't know if we want to end it on the hour or go over, but I mean, I think we did a good job. Me personally.
I think after messing up technically for 10 minutes, I think we've bounced back pretty well. I was going to give people a chance to log in. I don't know if anybody else in leadership will get a chance today though, but that's the whole point of it. We're going to come up with a standing time, and this is going to be getting feedback from everybody. We're going to go to VMX and talk about this and how it went. And, we're going to get a lot of feedback, a lot of improvements. And my thought is to have a standing date and time.
I love that.
Where people know we're going to be doing this. Whoever can make it, makes it. And it can be, obviously there's going to be a main subject, right? But, when you talk for an hour with 5-6 other people, the conversation can change. And I just want this to be like the friend that's always there for you.
Yeah, let me say two. I promise I will actually stop talking and turn it back to you. But I want to say two quick things before I sign off. David Diefenbach just commented, huge, and you just brought up VMX. We are having, that's one of the reasons John at the beginning was like, Mark is like the engine. I've been trying to be like, guys, VMX, let's launch this thing before VMX, the week before VMX, because I think meeting people in real life at VMX is going to be really special. And now that we have 150 whatever people in a LinkedIn group, I did pronounce your name right. David has been to VMX a bunch of times. He knows that there's a room in the Hyatt, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be great for a meeting. So we just left it as an open-ended 7 to 9 a.m. on Monday, just kind of come, mill about, meet and greet. It's something real or official, but if you're going to be at VMX, we would love for you to come and meet and greet. And then the other thing was about first episode. The other thing I really want to do, so be on the lookout, is that first leadership call. We recorded our leadership calls, and that first leadership call at the end, I remember we said that would have been a great episode. We really got deep and talked about what we wanted FlareVet to be, and we talked about our own stories. And thankfully, due to Chris Tremblay, our resident IT guru, we do have the recording in decent resolution. So I do want to post that as well to show you the real unfiltered. There's three or four keywords we keep using: raw, authentic, unfiltered. I want to post that video for people to watch, like how FlareVet was actually born. And then I want to maybe chop it up into little videos as well. So be on the lookout for that. I actually am going to stop talking now. Over to you, John.
No, it's all good. I kind of wanted to just invite people to give us real feedback. Like we're not gonna be insulted by anything, or we just want this to be what people want to watch, and we want it to be a nice thing to watch as well. So any brutal feedback, any questions you have, I think now's the time to write them on the chat as well, and we're gonna have that every single time. Hopefully more and more people join in as we do it, right? But if you want to go through the comments.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Christy.
I think the last thing we want to do is create a space and for it not to be impactful and useful for others. And so that's why we're being so flexible on what this may turn into, because we want to listen to you guys, and that's what we're here for. So however we can best facilitate what it's going to take.
Exactly. That I think that's really the main point of all this, conversations, is to find a actual solution to problems. And part of the how we're gonna go about that is gonna come from the people that are watching and listening, and where and how we're gonna impact vet medicine. It's not just up to us, it's we're just kind of the messengers as well, right? So I just want people to feel like they're all part of this. I know StreamYard lets us have 10 people. I wish I could have the 50 from the chat, but we're gonna be bringing people, like we said earlier, for those type of talks. So Mark, I don't know if there's anything.
I just want to respond to the question. I'm trying to post the link. I don't think links really work in the YouTube comment, but there is a map. David posted in the FlareVet group on LinkedIn a map that shows where in the Hyatt we're supposed to meet. So, just look at our socials, look at LinkedIn, look at those things. I'm trying to post the group, but he drew us a map. So, but we'll make sure everybody knows where to go. Oh no, we lost your audio. Oh, you muted yourself.
I muted myself because my kid was making noises. Anything else you guys want to say? I was just giving people a chance to log on, but I think that's gonna be it.
No, I'm thrilled. I'm so happy that this is like actually happening. We talked about this as an idea, but I mean, and I think I want to end on what Christy said about, like, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you like, what you don't like. We don't. This is flexible. We don't have to please any sponsor. This is whatever we want it to be. And yeah, I'm so thrilled that this is like actually happening for real.
Yeah.
Right. And we're doing it for everybody, not for us. It's for everybody to be part of it as well. I want to make that very clear. So, all right. Well, thanks again for joining us. And, we're going to come up with a date and time to have a standing show type thing. And so, we're there for you, and you can log on and ask questions or whatever. So thanks again, Mark and Christy, for your time.
Yeah.
And I guess
thank you, John. Thank you for coming up with this idea. This is all thanks to you.
Well, you guys helped a lot. I mean, if it was just me, I wouldn't have done it. I'll be honest with that. So, all right. Well, thanks again, everybody. I hope that this becomes a really, really impactful, funny, entertaining project. And I'll see you guys at VMX. And you know where to find us. We're going to post a map, like Mark said, and it'll be at 7 a.m. on Monday. We're all going to meet there and have a couple hours to, talk about the project and, get this to where it should go. So, all right. Thanks again, everybody. Take care. And Mark and Christy, again, thanks a lot. We'll see you the next time we do this.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.